Hello, everyone. This is the this is the fourth chapter of Hornbill of Class 11, The Ailing Planet, The Green Movement's Role by Nani Palkhiwala. The following article was written by Nani Palkhiwala and published in the Indian Express on 24th November 1994. Now, please be careful about this date because some of the data which is given over there, when you will come across them, you will feel them to be outdated or old. But this article was written in 1994, so the data is of that particular time. The issues that he raised regarding the declining health of the earth continue to have relevance today. Now, whatever the points have been raised over there, they are still there present on our planet. One cannot recall any movement in world history which has gripped the imagination of the entire human race so completely and so rapidly as the Green Movement, which started nearly 25 years ago. In 1972, the world's first nationwide Green Party was founded in New Zealand. Since then, the movement has not looked back. So, author is of the view that the imagination or the way this green movement attracted people, uh, it is unprecedented. Since the time in 1972 when Green Party was founded in New Zealand, since then the movement has not looked back. It has moved forward. And basically, it has created an awareness among the human beings towards this planet. Author feels that we have shifted, one hopes, irrevocably. Irrevocably means not turning back, not changing now. And this shift is from the mechanistic view to a holistic and ecological view of the world. From the mechanistic view, it was only the growth, development, and exploitation of the resources and all that. From that, now the view has transferred to holistic, overall, and ecological. It is a shift in human perceptions as revolutionary as that introduced by Copernicus, who taught mankind in the 16th century that the Earth and other planets revolve around the Sun. Now, author compares this particular shift and terms it as revolutionary as it was as when Copernicus, the famous uh, uh, scientist who propounded the theory that it was back in 16th century that sun is the center of the universe, not the earth. Earlier the belief was that earth is the center of the system and all sun, moon and other things they revolve around earth. But then it was established by Copernicus and it was a revolutionary theory, and same he feels this shift is in human perception is as revolutionary. For the first time in human history, there is a growing worldwide consciousness that the earth itself is a living organism, an enormous being of which we are parts. So, what is the change in the perception? The change in the perception is that now the earth is considered to be a living organism. Earlier, it was not considered as was. And then, as every living organism has its own metabolic needs and vital processes, similarly, Earth has its own metabolic needs and vital processes, which he feels that need to be protected and preserved and respected. But then, when one looks at the vital signs of Earth, it gives an indication of a patient in declining health. We have begun to realize our ethical obligations to be good stewards of the planet and responsible trustees of the legacy to future generations. Now, as gradually the awareness and awareness towards the planet has increased, we have start developing that understanding that we have ethical obligations. What ethical obligations? That we have to be good stewards, attendants, looking after this planet, as well as we will have to act as responsible trustees, so the legacy is transferred to the future generation in a proper way. The concept of sustainable development was popularized in 1987 by the World Commission on Environment and Development. In its report, it defined the idea as development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their needs. That is, without stripping the natural world of resources future generation would need. Earlier, what was the attitude of the human beings? They felt that their time was only time and there was no other time that was there. They did not have this particular vision that the resources which were used, exploited in such unjudicious way may hamper the future generations. Now this concept of sustainable development has tried to make it a point that we have to use the resources. But at the same time, we have also to take care that we use it in such a way that it satisfies our present need, as well as we have to be careful that these resources are there for the need of the future generation as well. In the zoo at Lusaka, Zambia, there is a cage where the notice reads, "The world's most dangerous animal." Inside the cage, there is no animal but a mirror where you see yourself. Now, this is a symbolic, trying to establish the fact that the human beings are the most dangerous animal on this planet. They are the ones who are responsible for all the ruckus, all the disturbances which are created on this planet. Now, what has happened because of the awareness created by the various organizations and various movements? Thanks to the efforts of a number of agencies in different countries, a new awareness has now dawned upon the most dangerous animal in the world, that is the human being. He has realized the wisdom of shifting from a system based on domination to one based on partnership. Earlier, it was human beings' effort to establish a dominance over the nature. Considering themselves human beings, as every one of you know, are more mentally developed, so they were in just an effort to establish a dominance. But gradually, this thing has started dawning upon them. They have started to realize that this planet Earth is not only for them, but for other species as well, and other species have also the right over the resources of this planet. So from dominance, now it is coexistence, that is partnership. Scientists have catalogued about 1.4 million living species with which mankind shares the earth. Catalog, they have listed. And the list is 1.4 million living species which are sharing earth with human beings. Estimates vary widely as regards the still uncatalogued living species. Biologists reckon that about 3 to 100 million other species still languish unnamed in ignominious darkness. Now, this 1.4 million living species are the ones which have been identified and they have been catalogued and listed. But the biologists believe that from 3 to 100 million other living species are still unknown, ignominious. They are in ignominious darkness. We are ignorant about them. We don't know them. We have not named. We have not been able to identify them. We have not been able to find them. So, estimate varies completely. Now, one of the early international commissions which dealt inter alia, side by side, with the question of ecology and environment was the Brand Commission, which had a distinguished Indian as one of its members, Mr. L.K. Jha. Mr. L.K. Jha was a very prominent person, and when Delhi was a union territory, he was Lieutenant Governor of Delhi for a very long time, and he has held many distinguished responsibilities and posts at various places. The first Brand report raised the question. The Brand report, Brand Commission, which was established, which was dealing with ecology and environment also, it raised a very important question. Are we to leave our successors a scorched planet of advancing deserts, impoverished landscapes, and ailing environment? What are we doing? What are we doing? Our acts, the Brand Commission pointed to the fact, the way we are doing the things, the way we are exploiting the resources of this earth and our activities, what are they doing? Are we planning to leave for the future generation a burned out planet which was full of deserts, uh, impoverished landscapes, and the environment completely ailing? Now, what is this ailing? Ailing is not well, sick. So, this ill environment is is this what we are going to be and going to leave for the future generation? And this was a very important question which was raised by the Brandt Commission in its first Brandt report. Mr. Lester R. Brown, in his thoughtful book, The Global Economic Prospect, points out that the Earth's principal biological systems are four: fisheries, forests, grasslands, and croplands. And they form the foundation of the global economic system. Lester R. Brown, an economist, he has pointed out that Earth's principal biological systems are categorized into four: fisheries, forests, grasslands, and croplands. And they are very, very foundation of the global economic system. Now, apart from supplying our food, these four systems provide virtually all the raw materials for industry except minerals and petroleum derived synthetics. Except mineral and petroleum derived synthetics, they supply all other raw material which is required for the industry. In large areas of the world, human claims on these systems are reaching an unsustainable level, a point where their productivity is being impaired. Complete exploitation of these resources is being done, and it is done in such a huge way that their productivity is impaired. Now, when this happens, what happens? Fisheries collapse, forests disappear, grasslands are converted into barren wastelands, and croplands deteriorate. In a protein conscious and protein hungry world, overfishing is common every day. In poor countries, local forests are being decimated in order to procure firewood for cooking. In some places, firewood has become so expensive that what goes under the pot now costs more than what goes inside it. Now, in the poor countries, uh, the supply of fuel is satisfied by the firewood, and the forests are cut in such huge amount that this firewood is becoming less, and we all very well know that when the demand is more and supply is less, the price rise, and that's why in some places it has become so expensive that whatever is being cooked in the pot is less costly than what is actually under the pot, and that is what is the firewood or the fuel. Another effect of this particular thing is, since the tropical forest is, in the words of Dr. Myers, the powerhouse of evolution, several species of life face extinction as a result of its destruction. And because of that, as the forests are cut down, so naturally it is affecting the wildlife, and many of the species are either extinct or are on the verge of extinction. It has been well said that the forests precede mankind, deserts follow. It is truly said that before human beings came, there were forests. The deserts started when after the human beings arrived on this planet. The world's ancient patrimony of tropical forests is now eroding at the rate of 40 to 50 million acres a year, and the growing use of dung for burning deprives the soil of an important natural fertilizer. The World Bank estimates that a five-fold increase in the rate of forest planting is needed to cope with the expected fuel wood demand in the year 2000. That was an estimate made in 1994, that the rate of afforestation or a growing of the trees has to be increased 5 times. Then only the firewood demand, fuel wood demand would be met in the year 2000. James Speth, the president of the World Resource Institute, said the other day, "We were saying that we are losing the forest at an acre a second, but it is much closer to an acre and a half to a second." Now just can imagine that by the time this statement has been read out by me, around 10 to 15 acre of the forest land has been decimated. So that is what is the rate where the forest is disappearing. Article 48A of the Constitution of India provides that the state shall endeavor to protect and improve the environment and to safeguard the forests and wildlife of the country. But what causes endless anguish is the fact that the laws are never respected nor enforced in India. For example, the Constitution says that casteism, untouchability, and bonded labor shall be abolished. But they flourish. shamelessly, even after 44 years of the operation of the Constitution. A recent report of our Parliament's Estimates Committee has highlighted the near catastrophic depletion of India's forest over the last 4 decades. India, according to reliable data, is losing its forest at the rate of 3.7 million acres a year. Large areas officially designated as forest land are already virtually treeless. The areas which are on the map designated as forest areas, they don't have any tree in them. The actual loss of forest is estimated to about 8 times the rate indicated by the government statistics. Now, all these are government statistics, and author feels and author believes that the actual loss of forests in India is around 8 times more than what has been indicated by the government statistics. So this is the first part of the chapter, and here we end with the first part of the chapter. Please go through the explanation, and next time when please go through the explanation and go through the things which have been explained.